Hello YouTube, my name is Matt Spa and I'm a photographer and videographer in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm also a guy who's trying to get better and more efficient at pretty much everything I do. Part of the purpose of my channel is to try new things, to integrate new techniques and new pieces of equipment, and then share that insight with other people out there so that I can get better and more efficient, and hopefully help other people get better and more efficient as well. Case in point is today. I came into the studio this morning with one goal in mind, and that was to make a video comparing various 85mm lenses. When I came in this morning, I had storyboarded a few things, but I had not set up anything. And since it's all set up now, and I'm about to break it down because I'm done filming the other video, I thought I would just take you for a little tour around everything that I've done here and kind of share the whys on some of the decisions that I made. So hopefully this will be helpful. The first thing to look at is the set itself. The thing that I was trying to do differently in this video was to shoot flat on. If you've seen my other videos, I love to shoot into corners. I like leading lines and stuff in the background, etc. And I'd never done a personal video that was shot flat like this. I'd seen people do it, and I can look and try to assess kind of what they've done and where the lights are and what decisions they've made. But until you actually do it and shoot the footage and go back and look at the footage, you don't really have any idea exactly what they did and what kind of hurdles they overcame. So there were a number of them for me. First of all was just this sofa. This sofa I've had for years. These walls used to be brown, and so when I bought this sofa, I bought a tan one. And it's kind of a pseudo suede. It's a really nice sofa, but it looks terrible with these gray walls. I repainted this office about 6 or 8 months ago to a more neutral color, and the tan and the gray just don't go. But gray and gray go. There's another reason for covering up that sofa. That tan starts to compete with flesh tone. And I don't want any dominant thing in my scene that is going to be close to flesh tone color. It makes it a lot more difficult to make those final color correcting tweaks if you've got something else that's competing. The thing you need to get right every time is flesh tone. If the gray walls go a little bit blue or pink or yellow or green, nobody will notice. If your face goes a little bit green, they'll notice, or I'll notice, and I don't want my face going green. So the gray makes everything neutral back here. The next component of this setup is this small coffee table that I built a few years ago in the George Nakashima style. The upside of this table is that it's wood tone, it's natural, it has some good texture to it, so it adds a little visual interest, in my opinion, to the front. There were a couple of problems, though. The table was too low, so I've had to raise it up on some apple boxes, and I've also got some other various and sundry things down there, my X-Rite color checker that I use at the beginning of every video to get color right, and also my phone, which I use to turn on and off the record device of the camera that I'm using. The next component in this setup is the lighting, and off to my right I have my key light. It's a Klar Illumimax 120, which is a bicolor LED. I did an unboxing and kind of first impressions on this light. You can see that video here. It continues to be a great performer for me. I really, really like this light. It's accurate and it's bright and it's quiet and it just does what I want it to do. It's coming through a shoot-through umbrella, and it's set at basically 100% output. The color on there right now I have set to 5600K, which gives me a nice even light for me to kind of color match on the back end. To my left, a 20 by 30 inch piece of foam core that I'm using as a reflector to kind of soften some of the shadows on the left side of my face. The final component in my lighting setup is the Aputure Amaran F7, and I'm using it as a kicker. It's a little bicolor battery-powered LED that comes with these diffusion panels. It works great as a rim light. It works great as a background light. I've even used it as a key in a pinch. Very versatile, very small, just easy to set up, awesome little light. I'm using the Sennheiser MKE 600, which I use on most of my videos. I plug this microphone directly into my camera and find that I get really awesome results. I think they are a good pair for each other. The output of this microphone and the power of the preamps in the Sony just work really well together. I can keep them fairly low. I think I have them set at about 8 or 9, which is less than a third of the full range of power for that preamp. And with the microphone about 18 inches away, it rolls off low end. It has a nice little hump in the upper mid, so spoken word is very clear. Just a good combo. I have it mounted on a regular microphone boom stand, and on that stand I have a small FeelWorld F6 monitor. It gives you audio levels, all of the information that's coming from my camera. Highly recommended and very inexpensive at about $175. A really nice upgrade to a standard kit. The last component in this setup is the camera. It's the Sony a7 III. I'm shooting through a Tamron 28-75. My aperture is at f4. The shutter speed is 1/50th of a second, and my ISO is 1250. All of those things are working together to try to give me an overexposure of about 1.7 stops. And I shoot S-Log2 that I then apply a LUT to and do some color processing on the back end. And by overexposing in that range, most people say you should overexpose by 2 stops, but I cheat that down just a little bit. I can pull my shadows and midtones back down in color correction and hopefully spare myself a little bit of noise because they're getting more light as the stuff is being recorded to the sensor. I hope this little walk around the fruits of my morning's labor was beneficial to someone out there. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing. If you'll ring the bell, you'll get notifications of future videos that I post. If you have any questions or comments about any of the equipment that I used or the way that I'm using, you're welcome to comment down below. I always try to respond to those, and of course there's the thumbs up and thumbs down buttons if you're so inclined. That's all I have for this one, so get out there and do something better today than you did it yesterday. Try to do it more efficiently, and if you're lucky, do it for money. See you next time.